everybody! Today we're going to make an uncured pastrami style corned beef brisket. These are all the stars of the show in a conga line, starting with a stalk of celery, an onion, a potato, 8 cloves of garlic, some coconut brown sugar, some apple juice, liquid smoke, white pepper, black pepper, honey mustard, powdered mustard, smoked paprika, and coriander. When you put all of these magical ingredients together, you will get the most succulent, melt in your mouth corned beef brisket, pastrami style, that you've ever had. I've prepped all my ingredients and I have the meat soaking for a half hour to help draw out some of the salt and to let it come to room temperature. That way it'll cook evenly. That is the next step. Now we're going to rinse the meat. So we're going to take it out of the water. I'm going to put it in a drainer. I'm going to rinse it under some water. Okay, we don't want to get all the spices off, just this is going to help with the salt. Okay, so now, after it's thoroughly rinsed, we're going to plate it. And I will show you the next step after. Stay tuned. After it was drained, I put it in a pot full of cold water and I put the celery, the potato, and a little bit of sugar in it. And I'm keeping it on a simmer for about 5 to 7 minutes. This is going to help draw out the salt even more because, as you know, corned beef can be super salty, so we want to make sure to counteract that. And after it's cooked here, we're going to drain it and we're going to pat it dry and we're going to put a nice spice rub on it. I will show you in a couple of seconds. After I drained the corned beef, we have some leftover celery and potatoes. Their sole purpose was to suck up the excess salt from the meat. We don't need them anymore. So let me show you what happens to the corned beef after. I put it fat side up on the table on a plate after I dried it well, and I made a homemade dry rub for it consisting of 2 tablespoons of black pepper, 2 tablespoons of ground coriander, 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon of dry mustard, half a teaspoon of white pepper, and half a capful of liquid smoke. The next step is to braise it low and slow in the oven at 250 degrees for 7 hours. This is a 3.5 pound piece of meat, so the reason you want to cook it long and slow is to help break down the fibers of the meat. So this is a multi-step process. First, you boil it briefly to start the cooking process, and then you finish it in the oven. So we're going to take our nice, big hunk of burning meat, and we're going to put it in. We're going to surround it with some chopped up onions and whole cloves of garlic. Make a nice little bed for it. And now we need a liquid. You're probably wondering, which liquid are we using again, folks? Well, none other than apple juice, because it's sweet, it's acidic, and the acid helps break down the meat even further. So far, we have 1 cup here, but as you can see, that's not enough. Let's get a 2nd cup, because we want to fill it until the meat is halfway covered only. So let's try cup number 2. There you go. That looks a little better. And let's dilute it with a little bit of water. So half a cup of water. Yeah, that's perfect. That's what you want it to look like before it goes in the oven. can't put it like this. We're gonna cover it with foil, heavy duty foil, because that way it helps cook it evenly. See you at the next step. As you can see, we covered it in foil. The oven is preheated to 250 degrees. Say ah! Now, we're gonna put it inside and we're gonna let this guy cook for not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, but lucky 7. 7 hours. That's for a 3.5 pound piece. I'll show you after how it looks. 7 hours later, and we have fork tender amazingness. Look at that. But we're not done. Come and I'll show you, because I have an extra treat for you. We're going to make a glaze. So I'm starting with 1/4 of a cup of coconut sugar and a few squirts of honey mustard. It's about 4 squirts. Some smoked paprika. Some powdered mustard. Some coriander, finely ground. And some black pepper. Now, I'm going to mix all this glaze together. Just a little bit more honey mustard. That's number 5, number 6, and there we go. Number 7. Lucky 7. Just like 7 hours, 7 squirts of honey mustard. Okay, so this is what we do next. Let me show you. See this nice looking concoction we have here? I know it sounds very sweet, but it's going to make it taste even more amazing. So we take it, we spread it out. I also have a basting brush I'm about to use. So let me finish this off. It's almost like glazing a cake. See? I get to paint it on top all over. I still have my oven running at 250 degrees steady. So now, get rid of that little mess there. And we're going to wipe that. And it goes back in the oven for another 20 minutes to let that glaze bake. See you in 20 minutes. So, as you can see, I took the meat out of its basting juices after it was cooked. I had it tented under foil for 10 minutes, and come here and I'll show you the beautiful masterpiece. Look how soft and fall apart it is. So you take a nice carving knife. You always want to cut against the grain. So you see? Nice fat slices here. And this is going to be an assembly for some delicious rye bread to make some pastrami sandwiches. You see? All the fat is intact. It's flaking. And it's short, the grain, so that's why we cut against the grain. I hope you have enjoyed this video featuring corned beef brought from just plain old corned beef to deli style pastrami. Mwah. Bon appetit!